Hello and welcome to another meeting here at Be Connected World. This is Thursday night, which means we have tech education. Drea Ockenden, who is the website hosting and domain specialist for Be Connected World, is here to give us all of our IT info and how-tos. So tonight's topic is something that everyone has used in their business at some point, but we're about to find out about it a little bit more in depth and exactly what else we need to know. Dre, I'll hand over to you.
Thank you. So before I start, can I get a show of hands of who uses AI in their business? Okay, so most people. And I'm guessing most people are using ChatGPT? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start off by adding 3 links into the chat. And these links are for 3 different AI services. I was talking about this before. The Google one keeps changing their pricing. So I'm going to say they're all free, but Google's been changing it every month since it came out. So that one's a little bit, might be free, might not. But the other ones are free, and so they can be used. And the reason that I'm adding those into the chat is because they're all trained on different data and they're all trained to do different things well. So being able to use, in my case, the links that I put are 3 different top-end AI models that you can then ask one and then ask the other and compare the results to see which one you like better. Is one of them maybe not giving you the full story, or is one of them just making a bunch of things up? And that's called a hallucination, when AI models just make things up. And I'm going to go into why that happens and how to prevent it from happening as much. You can't completely get rid of it because that's built into the model itself, but I will tell you how you can work with it. So let me get my notes up. Here they are. Okay. So my first tip, when you're talking to AI, most AIs these days use a chat method to talk to it. So that's what I'll be talking about today. You can use these when you're talking to it with voice as well, since the voice actually just gets translated to text and then the AI reads the text. So they do work the same way. But so let's start. So when you're talking to an AI chat, so I'm going to share this screen over here. This is just an empty ChatGPT chat. So when you're talking to an AI model, there's some ways that you should structure your prompt. And the prompt is the question or the instruction that you are sending to the AI to get it to do something. So you need to make sure that your prompt is clearly defined and that you tell it your desired tone and target audience. If you want it to write a blog, make sure you're telling it the word count or how many paragraphs to write, because without that information, it's not going to know what you want. So it's going to try and make it up. And that's where hallucinations start. That's because it doesn't know what you actually want. So it's going to just try and make something that works. So when you're writing, you need to try and use a step-by-step approach. So ask the model to break down the content into sections, such as an introduction, a main point, and conclusion. And so let's just do a little example. So let's say, create an outline with an introduction, 3 main sections on benefits, challenges, and with a conclusion. So right now, this isn't going to do much if I sent it, because this is just one part of the prompt. So what I'm going to show you here is we're going to go through different methods, and we're going to make one big prompt that defines what we actually want. So I guess we'll go with a blog. So at the very start of this, I'm going to say, create a blog with 1,000 words. So this is giving it more detail of what I'm actually expecting as the end result. So we'll start with that for now. We need to also set boundaries. So we need to define what should be avoided, such as if you don't want, I can't think of the word, what's it called? Slang. So if you don't want slang, you need to tell it that you don't want that. If you want it to be in a relaxed tone, you need to make sure you let it know, as well as a formal tone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, create a blog with 100 words written in a formal tone. And then I'm going to just write include there. I'm actually going to put these onto 2 different lines so that you can see them easier. So I've got the conclusion down the bottom there. So we'll say, with me, I don't have any examples right now to give it, but if you have examples of blogs that you really like, you can also send them to the AI so it can read it and say, oh, okay, so this is the kind of structure that they're looking for. I can recreate something like this. So down the bottom here, I'm also going to say, what else should we give it? Actually, let's just send that and see. Oh, create a blog with 1,000 words about how to use AI. And I'm actually going to change this to 1,000 words. So one of the new features that ChatGPT has, and it's also, I think Gemini also has it, and so does Grok. They have different buttons down here. So what these do is this gives the model permission to do other things and different features. So if you click the search button here, what that does is that tells the model that it's allowed to use Google or a search engine and look up new data and new information, because AI models have a cutoff date that they don't know anything from. So for ChatGPT, I actually have it open here. So June 2024. So anything between June 2024 and now, ChatGPT doesn't know. That's because it wasn't trained on that data. So let me come back to here. So I'm going to send, it doesn't actually need search. And this reason thing here, the reason option, I'll give you a demonstration on how that works as well. Oh, it's opening a guide. I didn't want it to do that. But the reason option here tells the AI that instead of trying to instantly generate a response, it needs to actually think about it and try to understand what you want. So what I'll do, this is writing a very long thing here. So we've got the introduction, the benefits, challenges, conclusion, and how to use it. So this was, hold on. Okay, so that's just the outline telling you what it's going to go through. So down here is the full blog. And as you can see, it's writing a lot. So I'm just going to go. So I'll talk more about the hallucinations. So hallucinations are what we call AI mistakes. Sometimes AI can make mistakes on accident, such as up here. Here it is. So this is a screenshot of someone asking the Google AI, how many rocks should I eat? And the response was at least 1 small rock per day. Now, we all know that that's definitely not true. And that's one of the main things people misjudge AI on. People think AI is like a super smart thing that knows everything, but that's not true. The way I try to explain it to people is, think of AI like a baby. When a baby is first born, it knows nothing, absolutely nothing. And it learns over time based on what it sees people doing, what it hears, what it feels. And so its experiences are how babies learn. AI is a very similar thing. AI, when they're first created, know absolutely nothing. And so to give it information and to teach it, what happens is companies scrape information from the internet, which just means that they go onto websites and they download all of the data from the website, and then they feed that data into the AI model to read and to understand. But there are a lot of issues with that. One of the issues we can see here is, how many rocks shall I eat? The AI didn't say this because it thinks that rocks are good for people. It said that because of this. This is a blog post telling people that they should run one small rock per day. This is why AI is telling people to do it. It's because the AI is fed the information from this website, which if you don't know, The Onion is a website that posts very obviously fake news articles. If we scroll down the bottom here, there's one here saying Trump cutbacks force FAA to unplug giant magnet that keeps planes in the air. So this website is not meant to be taken seriously at all, but the AI doesn't know that. All it knows is that it was given information, it's reading it, so it just assumes that it's true and it's factual. I have some other ones here. If you ask, this is another Google Gemini error, but they do happen to all of them. So this one here is cheese not sticking to pizza. The AI then tells the person that they should use some non-toxic glue to make the cheese stick better. And over here on the right side, this is actually where it got that information from. This is a comment on a Reddit post, which is obviously, again, not the most factual source. There's a lot of posts on the internet. A big one is like, did we go to the moon or not? Now, the internet has lots of sources saying that it's true, we did go to the moon. There's also lots of sources saying that we didn't. So how does AI know who to believe? Now, for big things like that, where it's a big topic that companies know are probably going to be asked by AI, what they do is they specifically tell it, this is the right answer, don't tell people this because it's misinformation. And this one over here, okay, so that one, this over here is another example of AI telling people that astronauts met cats on the moon, which we know didn't happen because there are no cats on the moon, but AI doesn't know that. So what I'm trying to get at is AI doesn't actually understand what it's telling you. It's just regurgitating what it's read. That's exactly what humans do as well. Humans see something on news or they see something on social media saying that the world is ending. They then tell other people because they got the information from somewhere. Why wouldn't they believe it? AI is that same thing, except there's no reason for it not to believe what it's reading. Are there any questions so far? No? Okay, awesome. So another way that I'll try to explain it is AI models, instead of, when you ask an AI model a question, it's not trying to understand the question and to give you an accurate response. Its main purpose is to guess the next word that you want. So when it generates something like this big post here, what it's actually doing is it's reading patterns all over the internet and it's seeing, okay, so when I see generative AI, the following words are usually provides blah, blah, blah. So it's just getting things that it's already read and it's regurgitating them to you. It's not actually understanding what it's saying. And that's a very big point that I want to make sure people understand, because it's a big misconception that AI is very smart. It's only as smart as the information that it is provided. So I have some examples here. So if I come back up to here, so this top example here is an example of a good prompt. So if you wanted to ask an AI to write a 500-word blog post, this is how you should structure it. Down here, if you just ask it to tell me about AI, it's not going to know what you're talking about. It's not going to know what parts of AI you want to know. So this is going to cause a lot of hallucinations because it's not sure what you want to know. So it's just going to try and pull a bunch of words together and try to make them make sense that are based on AI. Any questions so far? I think that's the majority of what I wanted to go through. No? I wanted to try and get through that a little bit smoother, but I kind of lost my train of thought and went a few places.
Can I ask a question?
I don't know where it gets, just for the record. Go ahead, Faith.
Yeah. What is so Gemini that keeps coming up on my well, because I'm using Google Workspace. It keeps coming up. So tell me what exactly, yeah, how different is it from ChatGPT or one of those?
So it's very similar. So Google Gemini is Google's version of ChatGPT. Like I was saying before, they've changed the pricing a lot. So with Google Workspace users, when they first released it, it wasn't included with Google Workspace, and then they included it in the top plans, and now it should be included in all Google Workspace plans. So with that link that I sent in the chat for Google Gemini, you should be able to access that with your Google Gemini Workspace account. But yeah, it's the same as ChatGPT in most senses. The main difference is Google Gemini can be used on your computer. If you have an Android phone, it's on that. If you have Pixel earphones, it's built into that. So in that sense, it's built into everything, and it can look into your Gmail emails. It can reply to emails. It can add things to your calendar. So it's good for that sense, where it can access all of your Google services, but ChatGPT can't.
Thank you.
That's okay.
What about the other one that you mentioned, Ray? The Grok one.
Grok.
What's that specialized in?
So Grok is also a very similar thing, although Grok is made by xAI, which is Twitter's AI version. And it is, so the difference with Grok AI is it is designed to be non-restrictive. And the reason for that is when ChatGPT first came out, the reason it created so much stir is because people were asking it, how do I hack this? How do I make a bomb with this? Things like that. And it worked at the start, but now they've banned that because it was obviously a very, very big security concern. Where Grok AI is designed to not refuse most commands. So that's the main difference with Grok.
A bit icky.
Okay, I've got a question too, if I can.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously now with the different social medias, they're looking at what is being reproduced or physically produced out of AI, and then downgrading any content that it deems to be AI driven or written or whatever. How do you work around that? Because obviously I can guarantee that something AI writes is going to be in better English than I write it because I'm deaf.
Yeah, so I get that question all the time. And the honest answer is I don't know how to 100% make sure that your AI generated content doesn't say that it's AI generated. So for example, on Instagram, if you post a photo that has been edited in Photoshop in any way, there's actually a lot of photo editing apps. What happens is in Instagram, it'll have a little tag saying, what's it called? Like AI. What's that? I can't think of what it's called, but it has like an AI warning on the photo.
Yep.
And there's a lot of things with text as well, like with blog posts, with SEO on your website. If that's written by AI, you also get your SEO score like reduced. But I don't know of any sure way to make sure that it's not flagged as AI.
Okay. Because somebody said to me the other day that if you do something, then you have to write something, you have to get it altered and whatnot, but then you can't actually just cut and paste. You've actually got to retype it back into your own thing from two different devices and then upload it.
I don't know if that would work. I think it's more based on the actual like text and the like what it's scanning. Yeah, I don't think changing devices would fix it. But
Well, they're saying retype it. They're saying don't just get the idea or get the wording, but then retype that into whatever you've done So it's not even connected or linked any within the internal behind the scene links to show that it's even gone near an AI app.
Yeah, I think the way that most like that it scans it is I think it looks for like the patterns, because like I said before, AIs are just pattern machines. They look for patterns in sentences and the way that they're structured. So that's
Yep.
how the scanners tell if something's AI or not. It's because AI types things in a very AI pattern. It's because that's what it's designed to do. You could try retyping it. I don't know if that would fix it, but also keep in mind that while companies are trying their best to get around all of these blocks that block AI written content and demote it, there's also Google and the companies on the other end that are trying to stop as much AI written content. They're getting better and better at discovering what is AI. So as something comes up that this might work to stop your like blog getting flagged as AI, it's probably going to get fixed very soon.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
That's
Did you
okay.
have a question?
Yeah. Okay. Dre, as you know, I've had Google Workplace on I've had Google Workplace, which I haven't really been using. And I was going to ask you, where do I find Gemini? And I've just gone into where all the apps are within Google, and I've just found it. So I've been using ChatGPT, as you know. And so does Gemini pretty much work the same way as ChatGPT? I just opened it up a second ago.
Yeah.
So you know, because it's been a little while since I've been using ChatGPT. So will I just, you know, write some things in there for it to get to know me and then start?
So this
Yeah,
that should be the right
that's what
window. So this
yeah.
this is just the ChatGPT window here. Not ChatGPT, the Gemini window.
Yeah.
It's very similar to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
At the top here, I've only got one model. I think you can change to multiple here. Actually, no, they used to have multiple, but then they removed it. But yeah, it's pretty much the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. The only difference is these ones here, so air conditioner control, that's me telling Gemini on my phone to turn on my air conditioner. So
Wow.
you will see things from
Wow.
both, like everywhere that you talk to it, they'll all just be merged.
So when you said before, does it seriously answer my emails and set things up in my that just blows me away.
So you need to tell it what to do. I can actually
Okay.
give you, I wonder if this will work. Hold on.
I mean, I don't know if the
There we
other
go.
people using it, but yeah.
So
Okay.
this is just my Gmail, and I have a Google Workspace account. So up in the top corner here, there's this little Ask Gemini button.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If you click on that, this opens the Gemini panel in Gmail. So everything that you ask it to do in here, it now has permission to access your Gmail account because it's open in this window. If you click this X button, now that it's not open, it can't access your Gmail automatically. And that's a security feature because a lot of people were complaining that they didn't want their emails being read.
Yes.
But if you come in here, you can ask it what can Gemini do in Gmail, and it'll actually, let's click that. Why not? Ask it itself. And you can reference your workspace files, so you can actually access your Google Drive files in here as well. So let's see, you can summarize an email thread, which there's actually a button right here to summarize emails. Suggest responses to emails. You can draft an email, find information from previous emails, look through your Google Drive, Google Calendar, and yeah, create calendar events. So it can access your Google services. You just need to make sure that you're, like if you want it to access your Gmail, you need to actually be in Gmail while you're asking it.
Thank you.
That's okay. And they are adding more features to that as well. They've announced that they want, especially on phones, on Android phones, they want to make it more detailed and more helpful, I guess.
Awesome.
Are there any more questions?
No. All right. Well, thank you so much, Drea. As always, you come with the education on the topics that we're all using, but we just need to know a little bit more about how to use them better, how to use them to start with, how to use them properly, and that's invaluable. So thank you so much for that.